Welcome to the PHOD Pod, the Practical Horseman podcast minisode series where we share audio lessons from our favorite Practical Horseman on-demand videos. At Practical Horseman On Demand, you can enjoy hundreds of how-to videos and get insider access to exclusive interviews and lectures, slow-motion demonstrations, and step-by-step tutorials taught by top-level pros in the hunter, jumper, equitation, and eventing disciplines. Head over to practicalhorsemanondemand.com and use promo code PHODPOD for 15% off when you sign up. That's practicalhorsemanondemand.com and promo code PHODPOD, that's PHOD for 15% off. Now enjoy the training clip.
So her socks are already wet. I use my regular shampoo almost all the time so that I know the skin and hair on her white socks is really healthy, so that when I get ready to go to a horse show, I can use a bluing shampoo. This is the Veterland bluing shampoo, but you can use Quick Braid or any of the other ones out there, or Quick Silver, any of the other ones out there that have bluing actually in them. And I also use this very old-fashioned remedy, Mrs. Stewart's bluing, which just goes in some water and it's used as a rinse. These kinds of products are harsh and shouldn't be used on a daily or even a regular basis if you can help it. The key to having sparkling white socks or sparkling white tails is to don't let the stains get set in. You don't want to bathe a horse any more often, their bodies any more often than you have to, but it's okay to wash the socks every other day or every couple of days to keep them white. And certainly the skirt of a horse's tail can be washed as often as you need to. And a gray horse's tail should be sparkling white with a silver overcast. That's how it should look in ideal. It shouldn't be yellow. The hair is not yellow, it's white. It gets yellow from being in stalls and absorbing urine and shavings, colors, and all that kind of thing. But you can certainly wash the skirt of a horse's tail as often as you need to. And if you wash it regularly with good shampoo and then reserve the bluing shampoos for right before you go to horse shows, voila, that's the best system. You keep the tail healthy and you don't overdo the caustic stuff. So anyway, I take a little bit of shampoo on my hands and I rub it in a little bit so it's not running out. And this is the Lucky Braid shampoo. And I'll just put a little bit on all three of her white socks. Then I'll take my Tiger Paw scrubber and do a little more rubbing. Get all the way to the skin. Get it really, really clean. Now this horse's white socks are not clipped, so I can scrub pretty hard. If you have clipped your horse's white socks, then you can be much gentler. You won't need to be scrub so hard. Then I rinse. Then I take my wrung out sponge and get the excess water out. Now this is what I would do on a multiple times a week, maybe not daily, but several times a week basis, just to keep the base white. Then, before I go to a horse show or at the horse show, I take my bluing shampoo and do exactly the same thing. Rub it in really good. Use a scrubby or not as you choose. Since I just did it, I don't need to. If you have a lot of stain, you can let it sit, but since these socks are kept up, I didn't, so rinse that out. And then the final step would be, which really brings out the silver, is to use a bluing rinse. Now, the color of the bluing will determine whether you come out with silver socks or blue socks. So, what you want is, it's best if you can mix it in a white bucket where you can really monitor the color. You want the color to be just more than royal blue, but not quite navy blue. You can use this as your final rinse on a gray horse, on white socks, on white tails. And that's what I do. I use the same daily maintenance than the bluing shampoo it shows, but and then I'll finish with this. Again, use this on a limited basis, just when they have to look good for a horse show or a competition or something. And that you don't rinse out, you just let it dry. And it will take all the yellow out and will make the sock will be really white after it dries. Really, really, the difference between the ones I didn't use that on and this one will be striking. So if you transfer that system to white tails or even gray horses' bodies, again, use good shampoo as often as you can. Save the harsher bluing shampoos, which have a job and they certainly can be used, but don't use them all the time because they are harsh and they're not made for horses' socks or tails or bodies. And then, just like the other ones, you want to get the excess water out. And that is white socks and, by extenuation, white tails.
Thanks for listening to this PHOD Pod minisode. For unlimited access to more lessons like this, sign up for Practical Horseman On Demand at practicalhorsemanondemand.com and use promo code PHOD Pod, that's PHOD POD, to get 15% off. Thanks again for listening.